My name's Griffin, and I live in this SUV. My favorite way to explore is by looking for rocks. Today I'll be taking you from the deep snow of Leslie Gulch, Oregon, through the muddy, winding hills of southwestern Idaho. And to make things more interesting, we'll be rockhounding at GPS coordinates I got from an absolutely random guy at a gas station. Let's go. For some reason, I've always just been fascinated with the fact that southeastern Oregon kind of looks like northern Arizona, and nobody ever really talks about it. I spent the night before on public land just outside of this place, which is called Leslie Gulch. I know you're probably here to watch me find rocks. I promise I'm getting to it. Just before finding camp outside of Leslie Gulch the night before, I stopped in a gas station in a town called Jordan Valley, Oregon. The guy at the front desk gave me some GPS coordinates after we both were talking for a little bit and discovered we had a mutual love for finding rocks. I won't show the exact spot that he gave me, but if you're familiar with Idaho, it's right on that blue marker. Once I crossed from Oregon to Idaho, the elevation quickly dropped and the weather warmed up. However, the roads were pretty damn treacherous. I wasn't quite sure when's the last time it rained in Idaho, but it had to have been recently because the mud here absolutely put my all-wheel drive to the test. Well, what the hell? Someone else is already here. Interesting. So that truck had two hunters in it, and they actually were dragging down a deer carcass. They had a big buck that they brought down from all the way up here. I think it came from like legit way up there, which is where I'm headed next. Right away, I started finding all sorts of different volcanic rocks, and this is what I expected based on what the guy told me. So I've only been out here for about 10 minutes, but if you look in there, that is all like a crystalline material, and the whole thing has these big crystal, they call these vugs, I believe, kind of like the more bulbous looking crystals on the backside. But yeah, that's definitely coming home with me. I love this one. But the best stuff for the day was yet to be found. The real reason why I came here is because the guys said there's a good chance I could find opal. And so this little chunk right here has this big white portion, which feels really different than any of the other rocks around it. It feels almost like glass or similar to that obsidian that we had. So I'm not going to keep that piece. I only started finding it as I was getting further and further up here, and I've noticed that lots of these pieces actually have these on them, which I think is a frozen grub that came out of the ground. I'm not really feeling like Bear Grylls today. I think we're going to leave the grubs for the ground, and I'm going to continue heading on up that way. Here's a cool piece. Let me show you. So that, I believe, is opal. Granted, it's not a very like high quality piece of it or anything, but these little, let me set it down. These little broken bits right here and kind of shattered off pieces look a lot like broken glass, and any opal that I've seen so far on my trip kind of looks like that. Doesn't really seem that interesting, so we're gonna leave that one behind. Here's a nice bright white piece. Let me try to get it in a nice angle here. That's definitely more clean than the last one. Oh yeah, that's totally opal right there. It kind of looks like the same consistency as like tooth enamel is what I'd describe it as after looking at it more. In case I don't find more of this, I would take this one with me. And what I'm gonna do is kind of put it off to the side, somewhere where I'll see it. And right as I set it down, I find an even bigger and brighter piece. In other words, it means I should probably just leave these two here. And I'm gonna continue doing what I've been doing, which is there's this dry creek bed right here, and I've just been walking kind of off and to the left of it as I go up higher. I'm hoping that by kind of staying a little off the beaten path, it'll reduce the chances that someone else has already picked over the area, because if that guy had coordinates to get here, he's probably not the first one that's been up here. Getting pretty far away from the car now. It's like a pretty intense Stairmaster getting up here. Well, we're not there yet, we're close. But I am finding opal again up here. It stopped for a while, I was climbing up. All right, I think I finally might have found something worth getting the pick out for. It's not opal. I thought it was snow on top of it, and I think it's actually crystal. So I'm gonna get the pickaxe out and we'll take a closer look at it once I can get it out of the ground. It's this material right here. This is actually crystal. So we're gonna use this to try to gently kind of roll and pry it out. I broke it free, but I haven't picked it up yet. Let's see what exactly this is. It's definitely not ice or snow, I can promise you that. I won't even pretend to know what those crystals are, but we're gonna keep it. Put it in my hoodie pocket. It's pretty dirty, so try not to put it in the backpack and ruin everything. This one's a really cool looking material. It's a bigger piece almost of that first one that I found just as I hopped out of the car earlier. All right, we made it and it's beautiful up here. I only realized my nose was running in half those clips when I went to edit this, but hey, we're about to find the cool stuff at the top. Well, I think I finally found something cool enough to pull out the safety glasses for. I think I might have found a pretty sizable chunk of opal. Let me show you where it came from and how I'm gonna try to crack it out of there. And I'm gonna try to take this and try to chisel it free. I don't exactly have the means to do it very well, but it has some pieces on the side, which this right here looks interesting. I at least want to try to get a portion of this piece out. This is on the underside of the rock, so I was surprised to find this when I flipped it over after seeing just a few glistening white bits on the top. I'm gonna try to hammer it out. I will need both my hands and I don't have a tripod with me. Some of the nicer pieces actually broke free for me. I didn't hit them directly. They kind of just popped off after hitting the stone a couple times. All right, well, the boulder rolled down the hill. However, I did bust free quite a few pieces of it, and some are pretty decent in size and I'm pretty happy with. I didn't even know if I'd find any opal or if I'd even be able to see the ground up here. Now this part had some pretty nasty wind noise, but I was super excited to find this. The fact that I found this in about 90 minutes worth of searching makes me so curious as to what someone who's from the area and has spent a lifetime up in these hills could find. Here's a few more of the bits and pieces that also popped off that boulder, but I didn't have a free hand to record with. Well, this is extremely neat. This is my favorite part about rock hounding, isn't just finding one or two pieces of it laying there on the ground and magically feeling like the luckiest person in the world. The coolest part for me is actually going up to places like this and seeing exactly where the opal is coming from. Granted, this right here is probably a very nice piece that someone pulled out. However, I think you need to have a little bit of a death wish to chisel at this cliff. Here's a really good example of where it's coming from and what it looks like. If you look real nice and up close, that's definitely opal right there. Want to see where the scary monsters live? I'll show you. They definitely live right in there. Oh yeah. I think I just found another nice boulder of it. I found these fragments sitting on the ground, and right below it is this, which I have barely any battery life left in my camera. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this one out of the ground and flip it over just like we did in the last one, but it seems pretty buried in here. The ground was way too frozen for me to break the entire stone free, and then my camera battery died. It was time to head back to the car. All right, we are back, and Monique is looking dirtier than ever. Look at that. And here's the part where I show you what I all found today, and nothing here is going to be like gem quality spectacular. It is our first time ever out here, and remember, we got the coordinates to this place from a guy at a gas station, so the fact that I even have opal in my hands is pretty sweet. Let's show you guys all the different pieces that I have. I picked up a few after my camera died up there. Let me show you what we got. First off, this is the biggest piece we have here. It kind of has, I don't know, like a dirty, dusty color to it, but it's definitely opal. And then we have this one right here. Kind of a similar material. That dirtier color is this one. This one I want to try to slice open and see if there's more chunks inside. So this is likely one of my best pieces that I have. It's got some pretty thick sections to it with some clear bits and decent clarity to it. This I found on my way back down. It's kind of a big dirty piece of this almost like tan brown crystal. And then here's a closer look at that agate slash thunder egg that we found earlier. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but it seems like it's an agate of some sorts. This one I'm definitely going to slice apart on a saw. And otherwise, once you got farther up the actual slope, the opal kind of started turning into this more white color, which I know at sunset, that's not the easiest to tell, but. And then I have this right here, which is a bigger blob that came off of the same boulder as this one that I was splitting open with the hammer when we stopped for a little while. And that's also where all these little fragments came from. And if you happen to know about the geology in the Boise region, let me know what you think this is. It's probably quartz of some sort, but I'm really not sure. If you made it all the way to the end, thanks for watching. If you're feeling real wild, feel free to leave a like or subscribe if you want to see where I head to next. If you enjoyed this one, you might also enjoy my last video where I find obsidian in deep snow in southeastern Oregon. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again soon.